from Sonoma County, California at Sonoma Raceway. Stay tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to another episode of Airgun Detectives. I'm your host, JC. Today we get to take the mystery out of the Glock 17 Generation 5 Pellet Blowback. That's a mouthful, isn't it? But anyway, before we get started here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down in the corner. It doesn't cost you a thing. It's absolutely free, and I would greatly appreciate that because it really helps support the channel. Also, if you have the opportunity, check out our website, www.airgundetectives.com. On that site, I've got various t-shirts. We've got our Generation 2 bipods. I've got some hats. We've got our Gammo trigger screws and some of my personal inventory on there as well. Okay, let's get back to our Glock 17. Again, this is the Generation 5. This is the pellet version. This is CO2 powered. It's powered by one 12-gram CO2, and it shoots .177 caliber pellets. This has actually a 21-round belt-fed magazine, and you can see that. And you load this simply by pushing this black, we'll call that a black retainer. You just push it inward, and then you load the pellets two at a time. Two pellets, you rotate the belt, rotate it again, two pellets, rotate it two. And actually, once you get used to it, it's really not that bad of a system as far as loading that goes. And then your one 12-gram CO2 goes in to the magazine because it's a drop-free magazine. You have your piercing bolt on the bottom rather, and you just pierce your CO2. So your valve and everything is in the magazine. So if you want spare magazines, you can always get spare magazines. So it's a pretty simple process. Anyway, the gun itself, it weighs a little over 1.5 pounds. They claim that this will shoot right around that 350 range, 350 to 370. And as I said before, this does have the blowback, if you can see that. And this blowback actually does reset the trigger. So if you were to just fire the gun without pulling the slide back, it's really, really heavy, and it goes through an entire stage. But if you actually pull the slide back, it sets the trigger, so then the trigger moves back to this position, and then from there it fires. Anyway, this does have your typical Glock fixed sights on it, which is a very nice sight picture. The gun is very solid, feels really good in the hand. You do have your little Picatinny Weaver type rail here. If you want to put a laser or some type of accessory on it, you can do that. So it's very, very authentic. You guys can see this. I'll give you a close-up look. Very, very authentic pistol. It really is. And these do have a safety underneath here. Right here, they have a safety if you want to lock it out. But the real Glock, you know, there's not a safety. It's just this, the safety on the trigger does work. The trigger can't be engaged unless that little safety piece is pushed in, then the trigger can be engaged. So very authentic that way. It really is. Well, let's go out and put this through our variety of tests, and then come back and we'll talk about it. So stay tuned for the next segment. All right, let's test out our Glock 17 pellet version over the chronograph. Shoot 5 shots, average it out. We're going to shoot a lead pellet. We're going to shoot the Diablo Basic. You guys have seen these, very affordable, very reasonable. These are just a 7.0 grain wad cutter. And we'll just, like I said, just shoot 5 shots. Okay, I haven't even fired this. I put a brand new CO2 in it, just got it out of the box. We'll see what happens. Okay, 5 shots. Let's see. .375. Shot number 2. .406. Shot number 3. .387. Shot number 4. .377. And one more. .373. Wow, that was actually a pretty good performance for a 7-grain pellet. Anyway, there's your average feet per second. Let's move on to the next segment. Okay, let's do a little accuracy test with our Glock 17. We're going to use just the, these work actually quite well in these. It's just Diablo Basic, the RWS. They actually work pretty good in here. But we're 10 meters back, 12 yards, whatever that is, 32 feet, something like that. Anyway, go ahead and check that out real quick. So now what we're going to try to do is I'm going to aim dead center with this. The sights, I don't believe, are adjustable on this. Nope, they're not. So hopefully, let's see how close it shoots to point of aim. I'm just going to aim dead center. We're going to shoot 5 shots, and we'll just see how this thing groups. All right. Let's just get this done. And one more. That's actually not too bad of a group, if I do say so myself. That is pretty good, especially considering the trigger on this thing. We'll talk more about that later. But anyway, there's your group. Let's move on to the next segment. Okay, let's test out our trigger on our Glock 17. I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's a very heavy trigger, but I'll give you a little tip of how you can kind of ease it up a little bit. All right, we got a trusty Lyman trigger gauge. Hopefully, it won't bottom out. In other words, the gauge will go high enough to see what the actual weight is. But anyway, let's test it out here. All right, 6 pounds, 9.9 ounces. 6 pounds, 9.9 ounces. Mountable trigger, but again, I'm going to tell you how you can ease it up a little bit at the end. So stay tuned for the end and the conclusion, and I'll give you guys a little tip. All right, let's move on to the next segment. All right, let's do a little plinking with our Glock 17 here. We're going to go ahead and shoot our same distance that we did the accuracy test. It's our 10 meters, 32 feet, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I've got the shooting cart set up. We've got some various little targets. Check those out. Got a couple little steel pigs there. We've got a little bird, shotgun shell, can, you know. Oh, and that cigar tube was from an Avo cigar, which was outstanding, by the way. My son-in-law picked that out for me for my birthday. It was really good. Anyway, but let's get back to plinking here. We're going to try to clear the bottom row, go to the top. I'm not making any promises. This trigger is heavy, and it does cause some accuracy issues. There's no question about it. But I'm going to do my best for you. So let's see how we go. All right, clear the bottom row first. Whoa, okay, now the top row. Not making promises. Those little pigs are pretty small. And shotgun shell. Oh, I got lucky there. Anyway, I'm going to show you this at the end, but I did do something to help the trigger, and it's really simple. See, I'm making you wait to the very end here, because it's kind of that suspense type of thing. Anyway, let's move on. Next segment, we'll wrap this up, and I'll talk to you a little bit how to improve that. All right.
All right, let's wrap this up with our conclusion. Well, what do you guys think? How did our Generation 5 Glock 17 do, pellet version? I thought it did really well. I thought it did good. But like anything else, I do have negatives, and you guys can probably guess my number one negative on this. My number one negative, go ahead, guess. I kind of touched on it through the process. The trigger is really, really heavy. But you got to understand, this trigger does a lot. What it does, it cycles the belt at the same time that it also hits the, puts pressure and hits your valve. So you're cycling the belt and the valve. So the trigger is doing a lot. But just remember, when you do load it, make sure you to pull the slide back for your first shot, because that makes that trigger pull much easier. Okay, now here's the secret where it's really, I'm going to tell you, it'll cut the weight in half on this trigger, and it makes it really enjoyable. It's so simple. Guys are waiting. I know I've been keeping you in suspense. Get yourself some silicone spray. There's several brands out there. I'll leave you guys some link for a couple that I use down in the description. But all you're going to do is you're going to take that silicone spray and you're going to spray it on the belt, along in between where the belt is and the metal. Just spray it along there. Rotate the magazine, spray it so it gets the entire magazine. You want all 21 round positions covered. So spray it all the way around and then rotate it for just, you know, for like a minute or so with your finger, just so it gets in there. And I'm telling you guys, you will see a night and day difference. And then what you'll do is after you spray that, then just wipe down the outside of it for any excess. And you're going to be good to go. And you will be absolutely amazed at the difference in the trigger pull. It will, I'm telling you, it'll definitely perk you up on this gun. So if that was your negative on this gun, it will definitely make you a believer, I think, again. So anyway, easy tip, just get yourself some silicone spray. My number 2 negative on this, you guys know this. I hate these clamshell packaging. I really do. I can't stand it. Basically, you open it and the packaging is worthless from that point. Give us a box, please. Give us a box. Are you listening, Umarex? We want a box on that. Okay, let's get into the positives. I gave you guys the negatives. The positives. This thing looks and feels fantastic. It feels just like a genuine Glock. The blowback on it, terrific. It's crisp. It just feels powerful. It really does. Also, we got really good velocity out of this. So this is a blowback that you're actually getting. I mean, we had, what, one shot with our lead pellets over 400 feet per second. So it's definitely exceeding what the manufacturer claimed it would shoot. We also got good accuracy. We really did good accuracy. For our target shooting, got a good group there. Our plinking, that was really good as well. So we did well with that. We really did. I do like the fact that you have a 21 round capacity. Now, you don't want to go through the 21 rounds real fast because your CO2 is going to cool off. But hey, you can shoot 7, 10, kind of take a little break, shoot again. But it's kind of nice to have 21 rounds in here. It really is. I like shooting this. This is a lot of fun to shoot. And the magazine, you will get used to loading this thing. It's not that difficult. It's just a system. I saw some guys complained about it. I can't really complain about it because I figured it out. It just, as long as you push that down, you drop your pellets in and rotate it, you're good to go. And I think once you add that silicone and that belt moves around a little easier, it's going to make your whole life easier when you're dealing with this gun. So I really liked it. I liked the typical Glock sights. You saw we did good shooting on it. But because of this trigger is so heavy, I'm going to have to rate this overall 4 stars. But I'm not taking away from the fact that I truly believe if you guys like CO2 pellet guns, this is one you definitely have to put in your collection. Because again, it's fun to shoot. The blowback is crisp. It feels really, really good. Very authentic. So again, I would highly recommend you add this to your collection. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Airgun Detectives. Don't forget, it's where we take the mystery out of the air gun. So until next time, I hope you and your family are doing well. I hope you're getting lots of shooting in. So take care and God bless.